Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Better Than Yesterday podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Cosentino, and happy 2026. I can't believe it is the new year. I feel like 2025 just flew by so fast, and so much has happened in that short year, but I'm super excited to kick off the new year and kind of go full force into new goals, new habits, new routines, and just start this year off strong. And I apologize for not having episodes out the past few weeks. It has been kind of chaotic. We went on a family vacation right before Christmas and then came home basically like less than a week, and then went home to New York for Christmas, spent time with my family, froze to death, and then came home meaning back to Wilmington, spent a day and a half, and then flew out to Massachusetts I was in my friend's wedding, so we got her married this past weekend, and it was so much fun. Massachusetts is freezing. Don't recommend if you are afraid of the cold like I am, but it was just fun. It was a good R&R. It was a much needed. I was in a slump definitely before Christmas, and kind of taking the time, not having to work and just not having expectations and just doing nothing. It was boring, but it was definitely helpful and got my mind straight. So we are ready to kick off this new year, and I'm excited to see what this year has in store for the podcast. I have a lot of ideas and different ways I want to engage and grow this community and just be more present and more involved. I'm starting a series called the Becoming Better series, and I'm going to take you guys through my life a little more and kind of see everything that I talk about on this podcast in action, my routines, my habits, how I spend my days, and just having fun. And I think it's another way to be able to connect with everybody and start building a community over here. Yeah, I'm super excited. And with that, this episode is going to be all about the start of the new year, your New Year's resolutions, your goals. And I know probably every other podcast is talking about this, so I hope you guys take a little piece from me, and hopefully it's something that you haven't heard already. But this isn't just about resolutions and goals. This is going to be about how to actually change and actually stick to whatever you want to accomplish this year. I, for the first time, felt like I accomplished so much in 2025, and it was a lot of the underground like building blocks to where I want to go. It doesn't look like I achieved a lot in my eyes. Like I said, it was a lot of just like inside deep work that I did on myself and accomplished things that I never thought possible. And thank you to my therapist, ChatGPT, when I was talking about my 2026 goals, and we'll get into this, but I explained everything that I did in 2025, what I did good, what I thought I could do better. She helped me shape my mind of like, last year I did a lot, and it doesn't look like a lot because it was just the foundation to what's to come. So thank you, ChatGPT, for helping me feel better. We love that. And if you use chat and you use it in the right ways, it can be a great tool to help you and to shift your perspective a little bit. Every January, we see the same thing. Everyone sets new plans, new goals, new routines. They have this newfound motivation. And once January's over and February hits, it's kind of like a light switch. Like, it seems like everybody loses motivation and everybody just like puts their goals and habits and crap on the back burner. Everybody's coming off like eating mountains of cookies around the holidays, drinking a lot. And then so everyone does like dry January, and then they're on like this health kick. And once dry January's done, then I think people are like, and they get a little lax, they start drinking again, which isn't a bad thing. You do you, but it's like that switch that flips and people just kind of forget what they set out to do this year. So in this episode, we are not doing the New Year, New Me energy. I hate that. We are going to talk about how to actually change this year and in a realistic, sustainable way that's going to last throughout the year. And hopefully these tips kind of help you shape your goals a little bit, to not feel like you have to accomplish everything immediately. You can chip away at that list day by day, quarter by quarter. You can just chip away. You don't have to go balls to the walls crazy and kind of put all your eggs in one basket, and then that's what's going to make you burn out. Most New Year's resolutions don't fail because you're lazy or anything. They fail because they're built on the motivation instead of discipline. They are built on the motivation instead of structure. Like I said, they have that all or nothing mindset, eggs all in one basket. And if you're not somebody who goes to the gym and then you set this goal that you're going to go to the gym every single day, you're going to get burnt out. Or you want to go on a diet and then you cut stuff out cold turkey and not weaning yourself off of things or giving yourself a little balance and allowing yourself to have stuff like that. Or I'm going to start over on Monday. My whole life is going to change on Monday. And it sounds exciting. And yeah, we all have that motivation in the beginning. You're not working a couple of days or a week and you are like, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this, which is great. And I think you should have that mindset, but I think you need to have a plan that goes behind that fits into your normal routine and your normal schedule. Because once you get to work on Monday, you could be on this high, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, you're exhausted. And your real life starts creeping back in because no one plans in their goals a busy work week, having low energy. Sometimes you're in a bad mood, or you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you don't have time to plan your meals for the week or grocery shop or anything like that. So it gets chaotic. And when it gets chaotic is when we lose motivation and we think that we're failing. You just need to give yourself some grace because we're human beings and it happens. We're not going to be perfect all the time. Things are going to happen. And it almost seems like the universe and God is testing you when you are on this great path. You're working out, you're eating healthy, you're killing it at work, and then he throws a little curveball at you. And I think he does that to test you to see if you're ready to take it to the next level, or if you are you're going to fall back into the old habits because something put a little bump in your road. You know what I mean? That's how I like to look at it, because I can tell when things just aren't going my way and it's God testing me. And if things just feel off, he is just testing you okay, Jenna, are you ready to catapult to the next level, or are you going to fall back into your old ways? And we just have to remember that when we hit a little bump in the road, to take a step back, think about how to navigate the situation, how to overcome it, and then give yourself some grace, and then just get back on the wagon. Don't feel like you have to start over, hit the reset button, because you just have to bounce back and continue on the path that you're on. Learning the difference between outcome goals and process goals. Outcome goals are things like, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to make more money, I want to feel more confident. Those are great, but they can't be the only thing that you focus on. And this is kind of where chat helped me a little bit, because because we all want to think about the outcome and not the process. We all want to snap our fingers and have everything that we want, but the journey is what's going to be so rewarding. And those are the process goals. Those are the actions that actually get you to the outcome. Instead of saying like, I want to work out more, you start saying like, I'm someone who goes to the gym 4 days a week, and maybe I go to a workout class on the weekend. And same with, it's all about the way that you kind of shape the things in your mind and the way that things come out. I know I've talked about this before, like you don't want to speak negative or like, I can't. It's more of like, I get to, or I prioritize. It's things that are going to be more positive and almost like positive reinforcement with what you're talking about. And this is where like the real change and shifts start to happen, is when you stop asking, what do I want? And start asking like, who do I need to become? Because when you start acting like that person, the results, they follow. You kind of embody the person that you want to become. Everything starts to unfold the way that it's supposed to. You are just going to continue to work to be that best version of yourself. And when you look at it, your best version of yourself has accomplished and achieved all these goals. Not so much pressure on a goal or a thing that you want to achieve. It's who you want to become. Something that I want people to understand, and I don't think people do and understand the importance of it. And that is, trying to change everything at once is literally the fastest way to change nothing, because like I said in the beginning, you're putting all your eggs in one basket, and you're just going to get overwhelmed. And life is already overwhelming, and then once you throw in like 30 goals, 30 is a little aggressive, but like 10 goals that you want to accomplish, you're going to get overwhelmed. Like, for example, let's say your goals are you want to wake up earlier, you want to work out in the morning. Most people, they overload themselves in January. They do the new workouts, the new diet, their new routines, the new habits, the new mindset. And then by the end of the month, they get burnt out and they maybe stop it one day, and then, like I said, they think they failed and they didn't bounce back and just continue on the journey. They give up. Instead, I want you to think about this year differently. Pick one or two non-negotiable habits and work on it and see how consistent you can be, and see how you can implement this into your life, these habits into your life. And then once those become a habit, then you can start stacking them. I'm like a repeating record, but it's like the habit stacking that we've talked about. You start with little changes, and then you just kind of build off that momentum once those habits become routine. So those can look like, the small little habits is like going on a walk every day, making sure, if one of your goals is like you want to lose weight, and so make sure one could be having protein in every meal, doing a short morning routine instead of a 5-hour morning routine. And then set yourself up for success on the weekends. Take an hour out of your day on Sunday, like Sunday morning, and sit down with your planner and your calendar pulled up, and then just kind of plan everything out for the week. And that's going to put you in the right mindset, and it's going to help you tackle your days. And it's going to help when a bump in the road comes, you can be, okay, I can pivot, I can change this around, I can move this around. And you just start preparing yourself for the unexpected. You don't need a perfect routine. You just need to be consistent, and consistency is key, and consistency always beats intensity. So this part is important because it's where most people fall off, and you're going to mess up. Things are going to happen. You're going to miss a workout. You're going to eat something that wasn't planned. You're going to skip a day. You're going to give yourself a day of rest because your body needs that. And when that happens, I've been there. I used to do it all the time. And you get into that mindset of, I failed. I went out, I partied, or I didn't get my workout in. Like, everything's out the door. Like, I failed. I'm going to have to just restart on Monday, and not giving myself grace. Like, oh, I can enjoy myself. I can miss a workout. It's not the end of the world. And just the next day or later that day, just get back on the horse and don't beat yourself up. One of the rules that I think can help you with that is never miss a day twice. Like never miss 2 days in a row, because you're going to get a little comfortable and then you're not going to want to get up in the morning. You're not going to want to go for a walk after work. You're going to be like, oh, I'll be fine. Like I didn't do it yesterday. And never miss twice. That is so important. You're going to have an off day, and that's normal. 2 in a row, it starts a pattern, and you don't need to use that as a spiral. You don't need to punish yourself. You just need to bounce back and come back and just be consistent. It's not about messing up. It's just about returning faster, not being guilty, and giving yourself grace. Back to the repeating record. Motivation is amazing, but it is unreliable. Discipline and systems is what's going to carry you when the motivation is gone. And we all get that motivation, we all get that spike, and then we don't have the discipline to keep it going. Discipline is probably the best muscle in your mind that you can have. It is a life-changing thing. If you have discipline, your life will not be the same. If you're somebody who says you're always going to do something and then you get lazy or that motivation fades and you're like, oh, I'll just put it off until tomorrow. You're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to stay where you're at. But that discipline is going to keep you going, and it sucks. It really does suck sometimes, but you're going to be grateful for a year down the road when you had that discipline and you see where your life has ended up versus where it would have been stuck. So discipline and systems can look like scheduling your workouts like an appointment or like a meeting. I put it on my calendar like it's a meeting. I like the structure. I like the time block. And if you're that type of person, I challenge you to try that because it really is helpful. Even my morning routine and night routine, I have that on my calendar as well, just to kind of keep it top of mind. Next, planning meals instead of, that spur of the moment, oh, let me cook this, or let me just run to Chick-fil-A, you know what I mean? You're thinking about it on Sunday, you're setting yourself up for the week, you're going grocery shopping, you don't have to meal prep everything, but just meal prepping, your meats and your veggies or your grains, rice, whatever, and then you can kind of, if you have that baseline, you can kind of just like throw something together and, make something that might sound appetizing for you that day. I know some people get sick of cooking and eating the same things every single day. Trust me, I used to be a meal prep 5 days a week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And granted, it was good. I'm glad I did that. I have given myself grace and not put so much pressure on myself on the weekends to do that. But it really, truly helps you and helps kind of focus your attention on something else and not have to worry about that. Not have to on your lunch break, oh, I got to go find something for lunch. You already have it packed. It's healthy. It's going to fuel you and it's going to get you through the rest of the day. And then when you get home from work, you don't have to stay cooking in the kitchen for an hour. You have something right there that you can just throw in the microwave, throw in the air fryer. That's going to be good. And using those discipline muscles and the systems to build the habit stacking method and doing a little and then adding on top of that is what's going to help you and what's going to keep you going. Because if your environment doesn't support your goals, your motivation won't save you. The right choice is easier and you'll stick to it longer when you have those tools in your back pocket. When you do feel like falling off, that you can be like, this is just a bump in the road. Get out of my own way. Get out of your own way and just stick to the plan that you set up for yourself on Sunday. Another thing is, I like to use weight loss as an example because I know that's what basically everybody puts on their New Year's resolution. Whether it's weight loss, fitness goals, whatever, measuring your progress is important, but you cannot obsess with it. Progress isn't just what the scale says, it's how are your energy levels? How's your sleep? Did you just have a killer workout the day before? Like, are you sore? Like, the scale spikes when you're sore because you have all that lactic acid built up in your body from tearing your muscles from lifting. You know what I mean? That's what makes you sore. Prime example, when I was doing 75 hard, I literally would weigh myself every single day. And I used to get really upset because I would see the scale would spike a couple pounds or 5 pounds, and I would freak out. And my coach at the time, I would tell her about it, and she's like, how is your sleep? Are you sore? There's all these different factors that affect your weight, and they can affect the scale. I used to obsess over that number, and it would like ruin my day. If I got on the scale in the morning and let's say I was like 2 pounds heavier, I would be just pissed off the rest of the day. Like, what the fuck? And I really stopped weighing myself, and I would weigh myself like once a week and then just really focusing on how I felt. And I got an Oura ring probably over a year ago. I think I've had this guy for a year. And it has really truly helped me with understanding my body, like understanding my sleep, understanding my energy levels throughout the day. Because like I would wake up and be exhausted thinking that I got all this sleep when I really only got 6 hours of sleep and like 50 minutes of REM sleep or like 20 minutes of REM sleep. That all takes an account. And it also tracks your periods and all your different cycle phases. So like your cycle phases are crazy because it just messes up your hormones. A woman's body is just all over the map, all the time. So it really just helps me understand like what's going on, what phase am I in, and I don't obsess over the things. I take care of my body now and just understand like, oh, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I'm going to take it easy and I'm going to go to bed early and prioritize that. Some people just even throw away their scale. They don't even use it and they just really focus on how they're feeling. And I like to see that number, so I probably won't ever throw my scale away. You know, it's just kind of that double check, but don't make it obsessive. Don't make it a pattern. Just kind of once a week, once a month, just check in with yourself and see how you're doing. If you need to adjust, you adjust. What I mentioned in the beginning with ChatGPT helping me with my goals, I saw a girl talk about this on TikTok, and she had all these prompts for chat. And let me see if I can pull it up on my iPad so I can kind of talk through it a little better and give you an example of what the prompts I used. This is how I started it. Hi, I want to goal plan for 2026. Can you help me with some questions, thoughts to think through what my goals are, who I want to be, how am I going to get there, what my day-to-day looks like, how to manage working towards all of them without being overwhelmed. She walks you through in phases and questions and prompts that you fill out and send that back to her. So it's kind of like you want to give chat as much information as possible. It's going to help tailor it better towards your life and you. If I'm honest, when I said I feel like I haven't accomplished anything this year, but I know that's not true. I think because I haven't seen life-changing growth to push me to that next level, it seems like I haven't accomplished everything. This is where the therapist in chat came out. She said, you did not have a mediocre year. You had a character building, identity shifting, foundation laying year. Those don't feel flashy in real time, but they're the years that change the trajectory of your life. So then they broke down what 25 actually proves about me and what I actually accomplished in like chat size, and it helped me understand better of like, oh, I didn't just sit on my ass all year, you know? So after we walked through my 2025, she gave me my 2026 identity. And we're not getting into the 2026 goals yet. It's when you imagine December of 2026, and then she gives you a few sentences of which sentence feels truer. So then I gave her my goals. This was what was kind of mind-blowing. And I gave her my goals, and how many goals did I have? 1, 2. I had a lot of goals on there. But she separated them from goals from outcomes. Like we talked earlier, the outcome goals and process goals, the actions, the outcomes, and she broke those down. She kind of just helped put that in like simpler terms and made it more understanding and manageable and more like, oh, I definitely can accomplish that, Not to get down a rabbit hole like we have. But then she broke it down into quarterly plans, your 2026 quarterly plans. So it's first one was foundation and identity, and that's where you focus on your routines, your discipline, your consistency. And then Q2 is you're now shifting gears to more visibility, your career, your content, whatever that looks like. She just breaks it down to more simpler, like Q1, you're kind of laying that foundation, building that momentum, having those building blocks. So Q2, you can focus on something else that's going to propel you to the next level. Same with Q3. Everything from Q1 and Q2 is going to propel you for Q3, yada, yada, yada. So it was just a different way than how I normally would set up my goals and think about my goals. And it truly has helped me make them more realistic. And I get super overwhelmed with things and goals, and I procrastinate, and I'm like a squirrel. Like I see something, I'm like, I gotta do that, or I gotta switch gears. And then I get overwhelmed, like if I have a lot of things to do and I don't know where to start. So I just don't, you know what I mean? And this kind of helps break that down. Know a place to start. I shouldn't get overwhelmed with my goals because I have a plan, and it's all just layering on top of each other. And I have to start at this baseline and build that momentum to get to that next level. So I hope that makes sense. I know that was kind of all over the place and with the chat thing, but it truly, just take a stab at it. It doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to use the exact prompts that I did, but just kind of talk through your plan for 2026 and be honest about your 2025 and what you did good and what you could have done better, where you lacked, where you thrived, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then he, she, it, whatever, the computer, it will help you shape it and tailor it towards 2026, and then hopefully makes it easier for you guys to understand and for you to comprehend, and then to have that plan in your back pocket to implement and change your life in a year, because it can be done. If you take anything from this episode, let it be this: change doesn't happen because it's a new year, it's a new month. It happens in the small, ordinary choices you make on regular days. You don't need to overhaul your entire life, go balls to the walls crazy. You just need to keep showing up, even when it's boring and mundane and just the day-to-day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I want you to just choose one habit to commit to for 30 days and see if it sticks, and then start building off of that, because just staying consistent is gonna be key. I hope this episode really helped you guys and maybe gave you guys a little, I hate using motivation, but motivation to kind of pose your goals and your resolutions in a different way versus how you would normally do it, and see if that makes any changes. Try chat out and see if, they help you think about your goals a little different. Follow us over on Instagram. Like I said, I'm starting the Becoming Better series, and I really hope you guys follow along on that. I posted on TikTok, on our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, Better Than Yesterday with JC. My personal Instagram, Jenna, 2 A's, R Cosentino. TikTok, JennaR.Cosentino, and the Better Than Yesterday TikTok. And as always, tag us in your stories, comment on the Instagram posts, shoot me over some DMs. I love to hear when you guys listen to the episode, if you have ideas, if you took something valuable out of it. Love to hear it. I'm so grateful for everybody who listens to this, and I'm so excited for what's to come in 2026 because it is going to be the best year yet.